Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stands, Manchester United 3, Crystal Palace 0, and we go marching on with the trophy that we've already held into the next round. But I just want to start off with a few words. Panic buy, going to get exposed loads this season. Harry Maguire should be playing instead of him, and he looks like he's 45. Not my words, the words of Jamie Carragher and Gabby Bonglahor. And what do those words tell me? Disrespect, lack of class, idiotic knobs, effectively. That's what they are, because it's punditry that belongs in a dustbin. It's reactionary, it's sensationalist, it's wrong, it's ridiculous. Casemiro has proved himself over what feels like the last decade to be one of the greatest centre defensive midfielders the game has seen. 3 Champions Leagues in a row, multiple top-class performances for Brazil, Real Madrid, and a very good season for Manchester United last season. Starts the season off a little bit slow, gets told his legs are gone, he looks like he's a granddad, he's a panic buy, he's going to get exposed. That's the quality of UK punditry in this country, and I hope it's not as bad in yours, because it's disrespectful nonsense, and it's the sort of crap foreign players in this country get subjected to by these idiots. Casemiro is Manchester United's top scorer with 4 goals. He's got a goal and an assist again tonight. He's absolute class. And what annoys me is the evidence is out there that this can happen. Wayne Rooney at 25 would come back from an injury and for 3 or 4 games look like he should be playing for Preston. And then suddenly the fitness would fall into tune with the brain and he'd be world class. Casemiro started the season off slowly, but those writing off his career are incredibly rude, naive and disrespectful. He is an absolutely fantastic player. You can do your player ratings, links in the video description, mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. But if Casemiro's not your man of the match, and I thought he was very good against Burnley as well, you don't, what's that saying? Form is temporary, class is permanent. This guy's class. Absolutely class. Loves the game. You see him walking off the pitch there. The smile on his face. He absolutely loves the game. And I think as well, for all those people that wrote him off, I think he loves and respects the game so much. If his legs had gone, he'd retire. And that's the thing that annoyed me about those comments. You have to bide your time, because United had a couple of bad results, and the pile-on would be massive if you said they're wrong, but they got proved wrong very, very quickly. And I also think that these top quality, and people like Carragher and Bonglahor aren't going to appreciate this because they never were, but these top echelon world-class players, they know when it's gone because they live it, and when it's gone, they don't want to damage their reputation and they will retire. So, lots and lots of praise for Casemiro, and it's about time we started calling some of these people out. You got Tim Sherwood last week saying Ten Hag's not improved anybody at Man United. The pile-on, when we had a couple of bad results, is even more enjoyable when we actually start to get back to where we will be. First good game by us from start to finish. Beautiful pressing from front to back, says Ivan. Palace never looked comfortable on the ball. And keep this going, lads, says James. And most important thing for me is to see the smiles and the high fives, says Bada Bing. And you know what as well? I just want to say massive, massive, massive pat on the back to you and the fans, because there was outrage on Friday when them leaks came out from the Manchester Evening News. And there's been general backing of the players and Ten Hag because of that. And there's been general backing because of the way that the Sancho thing's been dealt with in the press as well. And you know what I saw tonight? I saw that those leaks aren't true. And I saw that team, and it's not just a team, it's a squad. That we probably had, how many players did we have missing today? Probably 5, 6, maybe 7 or 8. And then you've got a squad of about 15. There's about 20 players all behind Ten Hag, and it's so obvious. The smiles on their faces, the teamwork, the camaraderie. I tell you what, if this press or these pundits think they're going to disrupt our club they think they're going to turn our fans against our manager, they're in for a very long wait, because I tell you what, the Rasmuses, the Mounts, the Amrabats, the Martinezes, the Casemiros, the Rashfords, the Brunos, the Onanas, the Delos, there's loads more names. They're not for turning. They're not turning on this manager. Varane was immense in that first 10 minutes, and it set the tempo. You know, there was people, hipsters in the summer, when we brought Onana in, saying, I like Varane, but he's the next player that's got to go. Disrespectful again. It's the same as Casemiro. You've got people saying, Varane, I like Varane, but Varane's the player who's got to go next. He can't pass out from the back. I'm like, who? Where? What? Have you ever watched Varane play, or do you just do YouTube clips? Like, Varane has played for Real Madrid and won 3 Champions Leagues in a row, and he's played for France and won a World Cup. He ain't a who-fit defender. He can pass out from the back, and he proved that again. I thought Varane's long and short game today was unbelievable, and I can't believe there's people out there that think Varane can't pass out from the back. It's like completely and utterly misinterpreted what Varane has been for the last decade. He was brilliant as well. These players are behind this manager. These fans are you are behind Erik ten Hag, and I don't think we're going to do any better than 4th. But considering the overarching problems at Man United, which is the debt, which is the Glazers, and I love doing this as well. I love doing this because the experts start saying every time Man United lose, they always blame the Glazers. Yeah, it's our club, and we know why we blame the Glazers. But guess what? You won't talk about this. Every time we fucking win, we blame the Glazers because we're consistent. It's not every time we lose. It's every day, because that's what we do, because that's the truth. And I look at United today and I see a lot of young players coming through I'm excited about. I see we've got players to come back. I see players we've got that were rested. I see a squad that can do things this season, but it can't win the league. I don't think it will finish in the top 3. I think maybe a domestic trophy and 4th place is what our limit is under this current regime of inadvocacy with the Glazers and the board. And I'm not comfortable with that. I want better. But I think last weekend, people were talking about sacking the manager, mainly the press, sacking the manager. United are going to finish mid-table. No, I really do think that we will be 4th or 5th this season. And I hope that we can win a trophy. And I think that's the limit under this current regime. But there's a lot to look forward to. You know, I thought Gore came on. He's one for the future I'm really excited about. Obviously, Pellistri was better again. I'm liking the physicality of him. Garnacho, I don't think we got Garnacho on the ball enough, but lo and behold, yet again, he does do something. He's a magnet to that. I said it in the watch-along. He's a magnet for something. Every time he plays, something happens with Garnacho. Casemiro was superb. Varane was immense. Delo, I think he's underestimated. Really important player. Onana made 2 good saves in the second half, having not had anything to do. Lindelof came on and showed why he is the 3rd choice centre-back behind Varane and Martinez. Even Maguire didn't do too bad. Martial, very, very graveyard shift, but still got his goal and looked good. I mean, I've got to say about Martial, because you know where I'm heading next. Morgan Smith says, Casemiro is absolute Rolls Royce. Some of those sweeping long balls had my long balls tingling, says Morgan. I've not been feeling good about United till today, says Bjorn. And that's why you back your team and you're patient, though, because these days are going to come. I actually watched 82 minutes until I realised either Bruno or Rashford were playing. This ain't the league or as important as it, but it looked very positive, says Elliot. Hi, Mark. I think these haters has actually bound United and fans together. There is a turning point now. I think that's a great point, Ray, and I said it on Friday. I think over the last few years, under Mourinho and Solskjaer and Van Gaal, the leaks, the press, they could manipulate the fan base and they could start the turn. But I think this time it's backfired. I actually think fans are tired of it. I think fans are tired about leaks. They're tired about the press turning on us. They're tired of the unfair stories about us. And I think it's actually got to a point where the fan base is actually sieged as well. you know, under Sir Alex, it used to be siege mentality with the team, but I think the fans are in that siege now. I think the fans are like, we're tired of the negativity around us. We're tired of the stories. We're tired of people trying to, you know, infiltrate and rock us and destroy us. I mean, it's bad enough with the Glazers. I think the fans are really in tune with the team and the manager at the moment, and we know there's going to be bad results. I'm pretty sure in the next few weeks we'll probably get beat again, and everyone will go, oh, he's not good enough, and maybe some of the fans will. But I really do think that we're in tune. Amrabat with more touches in 90 minutes than McSideways the whole season, says Alex. Well, look, I don't know what the problem is with McTominay and Eriksen, but they just weren't missed. They just were not missed. I mean, maybe it's 2 more injuries, I don't know, but they weren't even on the bench. Hayden, welcome to the Members Club. Casemiro is and always has been world class. The only people who think he's not are narrow-minded, biased pundits who think football is only played in England, says Mush. And that, you know, that's a great point I wanted to bring up as well. And I know I'm sort of calling some of you out here, but it's never been as bad from you, I don't think, than it has been from the media and certain ex-players around Anthony Martial. I've been fighting this for a long time. I would have sold Martial in the summer because I thought last season the injuries were ridiculous, and I think Ten Hag was thinking about doing it. And Ten Hag is a massive admirer of Martial when he's fit. And you know me, I love Martial. I have done from the day we bought him. He's always been one of my favourite players. But even and look, I've called him out when he's played badly, and he has had bad games. And last season, the injury record, it's not bad to say sell a player that misses, you know, has 4 or 5 injuries in one season and misses over 70% of the season. That's just logical. But if he can stay fit, I still think he's a fantastic player. And that goal today was so good. And you know, the thing that brought the most joy to me is that despite incredible pressure and abuse and bullying, well, let's not forget, it's bullying and abuse if you say Maguire's shit. What is it against Martial then? Because I've actually heard people on the telly, ex-players, pundits, media, I've actually heard them call him lazy, bad attitude. I know people who know Martial, and also I'm pretty good at reading people, like I think most of you are. I don't think Anthony Martial's lazy, and I don't think he's got a bad attitude. And I think when you saw him score today, his first thing was not to, you know, jog back to the halfway line and keep his head down because he hates the fans and he hates being here and he's moody. The first thing he did is went to the Stretford end, saluted them, smiled. You could see in his eyes. He is one player that, look, he might get injured again and everyone will be moaning and I'll be moaning. But look, injury is not bad attitude. Injury is not lazy. Injury is not moody. He has been labelled for the last few years as a lazy, moody player. Based on what? How he looks? I don't know. But it's not right. You know, has anybody ever considered this? And I've said it a few times before with Martial. He is probably, I don't know here, but he's a really talented player, and he's also probably not a bad-looking lad. I don't know. Maybe the chat knows. He doesn't do media work for Adidas or Nike or a clothing range or anything like that. He keeps himself to himself, doesn't he? You know, maybe, just maybe, like we all know people, maybe Anthony Martial's just a quiet, reserved, maybe shy lad who, you know, doesn't really want the limelight, doesn't do many interviews. You know, maybe he's just like that. But I think he's been labelled horrifically, and I've heard it time and time again. Bad. You could go and Google it. Unfortunately, some of our legends have said it. I think it's appalling the way Anthony Martial has been treated, and it's been constant for years. And I'm so happy that he scored today, and I really hope he can stay fit. I really do. Is it too early to say we look better without Rashford? Team played simple stuff. No, Lee. Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes come straight back into the team for me on Saturday. I actually think it's a real positive that they didn't play 1 minute. And I also think that them being sat on the bench watching that can only make them think I've got to up my game, because there's people out there coming for their shirt. And the dangerous thing is, certainly in Rashford's case, if he doesn't perform on Saturday, then people are going to be, get Garnacho on. get him on, and that this is good pressure. This is really good pressure. Mark couldn't agree more. Martial's attitude clearly not a problem. Fight the mainstream, says Dull. Brett gifted a membership. Well done. Thank you very much. So excited for the potential of Casemiro and Amrabat centre midfield partnership. Erik ten Hag has a good selection headache going forward. Glazers out, says Wazza. Mark, have you ever thought if Martial's injury track record correlates with his laziness, maybe he doesn't take care of himself properly, says Mo. Mate, I don't think you understand how insulting it is to call a professional footballer, lazy. And I also don't think you know or understand this football club. I'm going to take you as a troll, because Anthony Martial has already explained why he gets injured. He gets injured because under Solskjaer, he played him injured all the time, and it's damaged his body. And also, if Anthony Martial was lazy, then Erik ten Hag would out him as lazy, like he has other players. Erik ten Hag is a disciplinarian who expects punctuality and hard work. Martial turned up for training early the other day, got the time wrong. I think it's about time people started calling out this laziness. It's a bad label to give to a player people don't know anything about. Lots of positives. Great breath of fresh air, seeing new faces. Love the rotation, the subs. Help build confidence for the bench players and the rest of the first team, says Jose. Maguire, man of the match performance. Excellent passing. First time United controlled the game from back, and he always looks to pass for. Yeah, Red Army, you're back again, aren't you? You're not called Red Army. You're called something Maguire. We know you're a family member. Thoughts on Højlund? Seemed a bit off today in his cameo, says Enigma. But you know what? That's the real positive about Martial. Martial's experienced. I think Rasmus needs... I always said if we'd had the money, I would have bought Kane and Rasmus. I think Rasmus, at 20 years of age, needs some experience next to him. This ridiculous notion that Rasmus can lead the line for Manchester United at 20, when he only had a breakthrough season last year, is incredibly naive. I think he needs that support. He's going to have games where he's quiet. He's not the finished article. He's ridiculously exciting, but he's not the finished article, and we must again relent and fight back against the rivals and the press who are trying to say he should be ready. He shouldn't be ready. We've got to nurture him. Andy Weatherall's gifted a membership. The Glazers will fall eventually. Thank you very much, Kalen. And Mark felt the pressing and energy was better without Rashford's lack of effort, says Andrew Lloyd. Gabrielle, welcome to thank you very much for gifting 5 memberships. Look, there's no doubt that there was a poll in the watch-along. A lot of people voted Garnacho over Rashford. There's no doubt that people are tiring of Rashford. I'm not. I'm a big fan of his. But I just think competition for places is fine. I don't actually care for I like Garnacho better than Rashford or I like Rashford better than Garnacho. Personally, maybe comes from experience and maturity. Not so sure about that. But I want Rashford and Garnacho to be going hell for leather for the same shirt. I mean, this is brilliant. I want competition for places. I want Martial to stay fit and start scoring and compete with Rasmus. I want Mount to compete with Bruno. I want Pellistri to compete with whoever the right winger is going to be. You want competition. I think Lindelof at the moment is playing so well, it's hard to leave him out when Martinez and Varane are back. But, you want that competition. Reguilon's come in and done well when Luke Shaw's back. Delow's done brilliant when Wan-Bissaka's back. So you want competition. I think for so many years, we get locked into this. I like this player, I don't like that player. I'm Pogba or Bruno. I'm Wan-Bissaka or Delow. I'm actually Man United. I like the fact that we've got lots of players. And there seems to be a good camaraderie around there. And I've left him till last before I do the player ratings. If Reguilon keeps performing well, do you think buying him and shifting Shaw to left centre-back is a good idea, says Adil? Well, it's always an option, isn't it? Mark, free-flowing attacking football. Only thing missing now is Philip Billing, says Gustav. And put a super chat and got missed, says Daniel Parker. Sorry, sometimes they do miss through. I've always said that. Amrabat. I know we're going to talk about him in the player ratings, but Amrabat, really, all I can say is he's exactly what I hoped he would be. The biggest barrier for me was always whether... we've seen it with Donny from Ajax into the Premier League. It's not worked. So you think, well, Fiorentina to the Premier League, it might not work. That's the only risk. But what I saw from Amrabat today is exactly what the reasons you want to buy him. The speed across the ground, the tenacity, the reading of the game, the confidence to take the ball. his transition of the ball is brilliant. He was number one in Serie A last year for accurate passes into the final third. If there's space in front of him, he will carry the ball. His intelligence in relation to positional sense was really evident as well. And he only played an hour, and we saw all of this. But he played left wing. He played left back. Never overlapped. Came into the midfield. Came in between the centre-backs, pushed Casemiro deeper and took over the midfield, played with him for 15 minutes in the second half. And I think what excited me is that just what we're going to do. What we're going to do with him is I don't think he'll have to play left-back on Saturday because I think we'll have Reguilón back, so he's got to go into the midfield. And I think we read a lot from Ten Hag's substitutions. The fact that Maguire played 90 minutes, Martial nearly did, Garnacho did, Pellistri did. They're not starting on Saturday. The fact that Varane came off after 60 minutes. Amrabat came off after 60 minutes. Bruno and Rashford hardly played. They're all playing on Saturday. So yeah, bring it on. And it'll be look. I'm not here to say we're going to win on Saturday because we beat Palace tonight. We're two very different teams and a very different game. But that momentum's there. First game of 4 at home. Crowd were involved. Clean sheet, 3 goals. Loved it. Competitions for places is key, says Jesus. But what that message does it send to Garnacho on the bench and start Rashford again next game, says Jesus. Yeah, I don't think there is a case to drop Bruno or Rashford on Saturday. I don't think there is. I said earlier, Amrabat left back. Did he play that role? They were dead down the right, all over the pitch, says Ray Cowley. Thank you very much for that. Right, let's do the player ratings. We've got the fan forum for you as well, where I think it might be kicking off again because of what was said on Saturday. But let me just get these for you, and then we'll go through it. Quite a few players to go through. Make sure you smash a like on the video, and by the way, please do subscribe. So we're ready to go on the player ratings, I think. Let me just make sure we've got that. Got more mouses than a cat here. Let's have a look. There we go. Okay. Hi, Mark. We should not forget the performance against Brighton as well. Crystal Palace does not have midfield which can dominate, but others do, and they were able to beat Casemiro on fitness, says Mohit. Yeah, you didn't listen to the first few minutes, did you? I said Casemiro's clearly been getting up to speed this season, and now he's up to speed. The last 2 games have been really good. And what people don't understand is, in the first half, the one chance that Palace had came from a midfield runner putting a cross in and Maguire cut it out. Casemiro cannot physically pick up 3 runners. This is what people don't understand about our midfield. They pin it all on Casemiro, but he can't pick up 3 runners. He's one man. It's not Casemiro that's the problem with the midfield and the goals that we concede from midfield runners. It's the fact that he's the only defensive-minded person is the problem. I mean, how many goals has Eriksen cost us this season? Certainly 1 against Brighton and 1 against Arsenal. We don't pick up the runners. I agree, Mark, that Rashford should start. The problem, Ten Hag doesn't sub him ever, even when he has a stinker. Well, that needs to happen more, Mishra. Yes, that does need to happen more. Right, I would give Onana today. I would give Onana a nice 7. 6.5 is probably right, but he got a clean sheet and he made 2 really good saves. Johnny Evans was beaten by Mateta and it was a good save, and Harry Maguire was beaten by Mateta and it was a good save as well. So I think Onana today did his job, and I've seen it in the past where De Gea makes saves like that and people give him a 7, so I'm going to give him a 7. Delo, for me, again, yeah, very good 7. An assist as well, massively underrated. I like Delo. I think he's got the right attitude. He always gives it for the team. His work ethic privately as well is massive. He really is dedicated to the club and to his game, and he's the only fit fullback we've got at the moment. So, you know, love what Delo's doing, and I was very happy with him today. I think Højlund and Martial will play better up top. Martial is better interplay than Rashford, says Kerish. Rafael Varane today, I'd probably give him a 7.5. So I agree with the 7.1. I thought Varane started the tempo of the whole team. You know, as captain of the club, he really did set the tempo. And the passing, the ability on the ball, the dominance. I thought Varane just stood out head and shoulders above any other defender on the pitch when he was on the pitch today. I was really, really happy with Varane. Maguire, probably 6.5 for me. Didn't put a foot wrong, really. Look, the thing about Harry Maguire is, I've called him crap, and he has been crap for United, and he is our 4th or 5th choice centre-back, and that's a fact. But if he'd gone to West Ham, I think he'd be a good defender for West Ham. that was a very England performance from Maguire tonight. There was the mistake where Mateta got the shot off, but overall it was a steady game. He didn't really put a foot wrong. But ultimately, as we saw with Johnny Evans and him, he ain't quick enough to play in the way we want to play, because we leave our centre-backs on their own a lot. So I just think it was a good backup centre-back performance from Maguire. But he ain't, let's be blunt, he is not pushing out Varane, Martinez or Lindelof. All three of them are way ahead of him at the moment. But he did well tonight. Amrabat for me would be 7.5 as well. I thought he played really well. I've spoken about Amrabat. Really, really impressed with him. Can't wait to see more. The exciting thing for me with Amrabat is nothing he did nothing he did surprised me. Like, everything he did was what we bought him for. But what excited me the most was that he did it in a Premier League game, because that's always the question. Can you adapt from international and Italian football to the Premier League? And, the signs are looking good from the first game. Casemiro, 8 for me, 8.5 for you. He is my man of the match. There's no two ways about it. I've said what I've said about Casemiro. Brilliant, brilliant player. And hopefully he can just keep that going now. I think he's a player that once he gets going, he tends to stay in that form. What we need to avoid with Casemiro now is silly yellow cards and red cards. Mabry today was a 6 for me. I did say it on Saturday, and I got a bit of criticism for it. I was probably a little bit hard on him on Saturday. I thought he was an average performance on Saturday in a team that didn't play that well. Tonight, I might be being a bit generous. I think he was off the pace. I didn't really, maybe it's just the quality of players around him, but compared to Mount, Casemiro in the first half, I just felt he was out the game. Energy's always good, I agree. But he looked like a player that wasn't on the level of the players he was playing with today, which is fine. He's a young player, I get that. Mason Mount, probably give him a nice. We got an assist that was involved in the first goal. Played 45 minutes. Trying to think back. Just probably give him a 6.5. Yeah, I think that was a lot better performance from Mason Mount, and I'm massively intrigued because Ten Hag is, as I say, obsessed. So where does Mason Mount feature on Saturday? Because I think he will feature. Probably going to use him with Bruno off the right hand side. Pellistri, I was happy with him, 6.5. I like Pellistri. I think when you look at the Bayern Munich game and you look at the game today, a lot of graft, and I was really, really happy with him. I hope he gets more chances. I think he will get better with games. I think with Pellistri, he needs games. He needs more and more games. He looks like a player that's adjusting to the physicality of this league, and the only way he's going to do that is by playing games. So I was happy with him today. Garnacho, probably give him a 7. Yeah, good goal. Just a very exciting player. I'll echo what I said after the Burnley game. You've got to give a lad like this minutes. There's no point in having a talent like this and not giving him minutes. He's got to, ideally, you want him starting games, but if he's not starting games, you need to be giving him at least half an hour every game. Like, he's young, he's talented, he's only going to develop by playing, and I think we just need to give him more game time. And really, really happy with him. Martial, 7. I felt he was in the graveyard shift for a lot of the game, but he got his goal. Positive, never stopped working, behaved like an experienced leader in the team. And you can see the respect that Ten Hag has for him, that Bruno has for him, Casemiro. We saw those interactions after the game and during the game and when he was subbed off. I think the issue with Martial, as I said, is injury. That's the frustration for him. It's the frustration for Ten Hag. I'm sure it's the frustration with his teammates, and it's the frustrations with us. The only negative with Martial is injury. I think anything else is myth. And I was happy with him today. Loved how Ten Hag playing the youth. Would love to see Lacey or Hansen, Aaron in the first team. Superstars in the making, says DJ. You know what? I really liked Lindelof when he came on. Not going to lie. I'll give him a strong 6.5. You could even give him a 7. Really, really happy with Lindelof today. And I can't believe Sky Sports are doing an analysis of Harry Maguire. You know, I live in a country where PR spin is real. They're actually analysing Harry Maguire's game on Sky. Like, there's 8 players better than him. Why are we analysing Harry Maguire? I'm moving country. I've had enough. I'm moving to Ireland. Victor Lindelof, yes, very, very good today. Really, really impressed with him. Really impressed with his season. And it's going to be interesting on Saturday because he should be starting. But where does he start? Does he start with Varane? Will Martinez be back? I don't know. Johnny Evans nearly scored a goal, nearly cost us a goal. Give him a 6. Dan Gore, 6.5. Really liked his performance. Lots of energy. Spoke about him in the watch along. He's one to watch in the future. I mean, what a great time to be a Man United young midfielder as well. Whether you're Mabry, Gore or Mainu, you've now got Mount, Ericsson, Casemiro, Bruno, Amrabat. You know, we've finally got a platform for young players to learn and develop with better players around them that will nurture them and bring them through. Donny, probably a 6. Yeah, I mean, I don't really understand what Donny's going to do at the club, really. I really don't. But, you know, get a bit of game time is good. And, you know, he is an option if we have an injury crisis, I suppose. But, yeah, I like Donny, but it's hard to see what the future is with him at United. And Rasmus, probably just a steady 6, you know. It is a great... Look, it's still a graveyard shift at Man United up front. I'd say that even with Martial. We don't create lots of chances in and around the box, so it can be a graveyard shift. Martial benefited from a lovely cross from Martial, from Casemiro. But Martial had one chance, and he took it. And it took, 65 minutes for it to come? Højlund was on the pitch for 20 minutes, didn't get a chance. And that's the problem when you're a striker at United. There isn't a lot of chances. It's still something we need to work on really, really well. But you know, we all love Rasmus. Ten Hag tonight, lovely 7.5 from me. I really want to shout him out for things that weren't to do with the game, really. I loved the rotation. I loved the fact that he didn't bring Bruno and Rashford on at all. I loved his substitutions, you know, getting the players off, giving them minutes for the weekend. I think he got absolutely everything correct tonight, Ten Hag. The results, the performance, and the squad rotation were absolutely on point. And I think last season he sort of hinted that he wasn't really very good at rotation. He liked to pick the same players. And I did fear tonight that we would see Rashford and Bruno start. And they really didn't need to start. And he really did need to start Martial, Garnacho, Pellistri. They had to start, and he did. So I think he got it absolutely spot on. And that's where we're at. Ten Hag says it's up to Sancho, says Quinn. Look, I don't want to talk about Harry Maguire anymore. I don't want to talk about Jadon Sancho anymore. I don't want to be talking about these things. I want to focus on the positive because I think there is a real good feel factor around the club at the moment. And, you know, that's Sancho's problem. There isn't anybody going, we need Sancho. There isn't anybody missing Sancho, the player. And that's backfired on him. He needs to apologise and he needs to sort his career out. And because Man United are moving on. It's like the train station, isn't it? Are you going to get on the train or are you not going to get on the train? Because the train's leaving the platform. And that's where we are. And hopefully that can continue. That's step 2. I'm not running away. Like, Crystal Palace would be a tough game on Saturday. Then we've got Galatasaray and Brentford. They're all potentially... It's going to be difficult to win the next 3. I think we have to, but it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't. So we move on to the next step. That's what we do. And I, for one, am massively, massively looking forward to Saturday now. And I think that, you know, thinking about the team and then knowing that the bench is good, brilliant. I've got to say, please do smash a like on the video. The podcast, Goldbridge Saves Football, please do give it a listen. Brand new out today. Really great topics in there, especially Pratt Pundit of the Week and VAR. But we're going to go over to the fan forum now. I'm loving the thumbnail. I thought my title, CLASSIMIRO, was good. Amra Boss on the thumbnail. I love that. See you on the fan forum. Thanks everyone for watching.